I think that was pretty cool. I mean, I guess that was the most exciting thing for me. It's like, hey, look, time log.
Right. So what do we have on that? For
So we've got our players. Joe Lossett there on the left versus Kendrik Stumpp on the right. Joe Lossett on 4-color pod. Now that's pretty interesting. We've seen Naya pod. We've seen various.
4-color pod has been on the upswing. I've been kind of joking that this is Ink Treader pod because it doesn't have black. But that's for Ink Treader Nephilim. On the other side of the table, it looks as though we've got everybody's favorite Delver.
Ew, Delver.
And this Delver is a 2 Talrand as the big boy in the house, and then 3 Runechanter's Pike also as effective finishers. So in a lot of ways, given the way that this looks, I mean, pretty much nothing too surprising here.
18 lands in Kendrik's deck.
No white spells main. The white is all on the board.
Okay. Yeah, so this is mono blue wizards territory.
right.
I think we do have Augur of Bolus, which has become a frequent character in the Delver decks, especially of the Talrand variety. And we have turn 2 Elvish Visionary from Joe Lossett. Kendrik Stumpp just pondered on his turn.
For those of you who are just joining us, this is round 1 of 9 for the Star City Games Denver here, the Open Series here in Denver. I'm Adrian Sullivan with Joey Pasco, and we have 322 players, making it 9 rounds of Swiss.
Joe Lossett on the attack with the Elvish Visionary. I'm so glad they reprinted that card.
Oh, me too. I'm a big fan of Elvish Visionary. See a Gavany Township.
1, 2, 3.
Borderland Ranger.
A Borderland Ranger. Another card I'm very happy to have seen them
reprint. I love Borderland Ranger
but
too. No,
Mana leak,
thank you.
Says Kendrik. I'll keep those beats to 1 damage a turn for now, says Kendrik.
I think very interesting.
Ponder number 2.
Kendrik's sideboard has Day of Judgment in it, something I haven't seen in a sideboard like this for a while.
That's a good point. I haven't seen that either.
I think this is kind of an outgrowth of Sleep. A lot of people had started running Sleep in the sideboard because Sleep is so cool, and then they were like, I would have just rather killed everything.
Yeah, and there's a Delver of Secrets.
Ponder Delver.
I mean, the thing with Sleep is it gives you the opportunity for Alpha Strike kind of thing. You know?
Well, it's a totally different card, but I have heard that people saying when I was sleeping, I wanted to be daying.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have a pod.
So Birthing Pod from Joe Lossett after getting in there with a Visionary for a 3rd time or 2nd time.
2 life here for that Birthing Pod, and we see the Delver flip
off of a Vapor Snag.
In for 3, go to 15. Now, Birthing Pod, once it's out, things can become very dangerous.
Yeah, his targets on 3 are Blade Splicer, Borderland Ranger. Most likely he'd go for Blade Splicer here. He's also got 1 Deceiver Exarch, so he can do that tricky thing there.
Runechanter's Pike and Gut Shot, putting a lot of pressure on Joe. No creatures from Joe.
Yeah, this is Kendrik set this up really nice. Not only is he
go, he says.
Yeah, he keeps the Birthing Pod entirely inactive by removing the Visionary, and also added basically a 2nd threat to the board in the form of Runechanter's Pike, which is adding +4 right now. So that's a 7 power dude.
It's essentially going to be a 2-turn clock because Joe's going to want to put a creature on the table, and that'll
open up Vapor
Snag.
Yeah. We know Kendrik has the Vapor Snag off of the Flip Delver.
I think Joe needs to put a Thrag Tusk into play, or else that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's his best out at the moment. But he only plays 2. He only plays 2 main deck. He has a Blade Splicer in hand. Looks like we're gonna see that maybe.
I don't think the Blade Splicer will do it. I think that Vapor Snag dooms him to death.
Yeah, he's at 8. He'll go to 7 off of the Vapor Snag unless he can find something. What can he pod into?
Stonehorn Dignitary.
He can pod into Restoration Angel. That's what.
That won't do it. The Angel still kills him. It has to be Dignitary.
Yeah, you're right. Angel does still kill him. I'm forgetting that the Vapor Snag just pushes it out of the way. Yeah, it will be the Stonehorn Dignitary.
Well, and he knows the Vapor Snag is there, so he has to get it. There it is.
There it is.
The Rhino. Untap here. Cannot attack. Dignitary. He says go.
So Joe able to come back temporarily. We'll see if he can actually maybe get into. He can get a Thragtusk here with the Dignitary. That will give him a little bit more time. There you see Stonehorn Dignitary. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent skips their combat step. So, hence the untapped Delver. And an Avacyn's Pilgrim from Joe. Second Gavany Township. And we're gonna pod the
It's gonna be an image for Dignitary. And Kendrik needs to Vapor Snag here. Boom. No, it's too late. It's too late.
Did he have an Did he have an opportunity to? I don't know.
Once the selection has happened,
like
it's in play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not on the stack.
Yeah,
like
he's
the
not
birthing pod
there.
activation was on the stack, but once that happened,
he needed to respond to the birthing pod activation. Now he can't attack yet again.
Yeah.
And this gives the 3/3 an opportunity to swing in and potentially trade here, which
not gonna happen.
Not happening apparently.
I would imagine that Kendrik is happy to keep his Delver there, even if he's gonna.
Of course. I'm just saying that there's the 3 damage sitting there.
Yeah.
That apparently is not happening.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. So is this an end of turn Thought Scour here from Kendrik?
End of turn Scour. Talrand and a Snapcaster get knocked away.
Not what he wanted to Thought Scour into. I think he was hoping to make that Runechanter's Pike just a little more threatening. But at this point, it's one swing's one swing.
Yeah. Well, and now Joe has in his hand a Rhino that says no, the Stonehorn Dignitary.
Right, because he bounced it. Now, it's interesting because, if he had, at this point, it's done its damage. The Phantasmal Image coming into play, copying the Stonehorn Dignitary, has already fogged him for a turn, and
Joe has the white mana. He only has to fear a mana leak, which, to be fair, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I think the Vapor Snag, obviously, if he wasn't going to respond to the Birthing Pod trigger, he should have just held the Vapor Snag.
Yes.
Because then he could respond to a potential Restoration Angel this turn. That would have, if the Stonehorn Dignitary's in play, and then you think, all right, well, he's going to try to pod a Restoration Angel so he can blink the Dignitary. Well, I'll bounce the Dignitary, and that way the Angel can't blink the image because the Angel will kill the image.
Yep.
So he would have
targeted the Golem and blinked nothing.
Right.
And we're going to see what Joe goes for here. I think he just has to go for it. I don't think he can mess around with other plays. I think he just has to lay the... Oh, looks like he's not going to do that, though. What is he playing towards?
Not quite sure. He's going to play a Visionary here.
What's he hoping for? To draw atop a land, or...
Is it possible he already has land? I see a white... I thought I saw something white border in his hand, and I imagine that...
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. So
what is he doing?
He's doing something different. Okay, he's using Birthing Pod here. Podding away the image.
So that is a Stonehorn Dignitary copy. He can get 5.
He can get Thragtusk here. He can get Zealous Conscripts.
Conscripts
could be interesting. Yeah, how big is that Runechanter's Pike making that Delver? I think it's still a 7 power because... Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's 8 because of the Thought Scour. Okay, Slime.
Slime's not terrible.
Actually, I think Slime's probably the right call here. If not Thragtusk.
I wouldn't have minded Conscripts untap the pod and then Inferno Titan.
Okay, I like that too.
In the air, go to 2. And go to dead.
Mutagenic Growth for the win from Kendrik Stumpp. So Kendrik takes game 1. That was a tight game.
Yeah, that was.
It looked like Kendrik had all the early aggression he would really want, but Joe be able to put on the brakes there with the Stonehorn Dignitary, and then using Birthing Pod.
Right. To the sideboard. What are we going to see from the sideboard? I think that we're going to see Day of Judgment actually from Kendrik. Now, Kendrik, as we saw, was able to put on a lot of pressure, but one of the things that happens with a deck like Joe Lossett's is that a lot of scary stuff can hit play. What if an Elesh Norn is in play? You know, you're talking about a deck here that has Cavern of Souls usually, and a lot of times for the Delver deck, the combination of Cavern of Souls plus Elesh Norn is just impossible. Just impossible. If they can get to that point, it's just terrible. And a card like Day of Judgment can stop that from being an issue.
Yeah, or at least can help mitigate some of that.
Well, I mean, it stops that from being an issue. They only have one Elesh Norn.
Yeah.
And they don't really have a way to recoup or recover the Elesh Norn.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you still have to deal with a pod being in play. But you have action there, too. Revoke Existence is a possibility. But you don't want to go too far down the path of answers, because you are, when it comes down to it, as an aggro control deck, you're trying to kill them.
Yeah. So, on Joe's side, I'm just taking a look at his board. He's got an additional Phantasmal Image. Could be fairly useful here in similar situations where he used it just now. I think Phantasmal Image is just one of those cards that...
Such a good card.
It's so useful in so many situations. He's got an additional Zealous Conscripts here.
I think he's definitely going to have the Stingerfling Spider.
Stingerfling Spider, he's got Crushing Vines, as
Yep.
well as maybe an additional Acidic Slime. The thing about being able to get Slime, if Joe had not been in the situation he was in just now, he can put himself in a position to just lock Kendrik out of the game, because he only had 2 lands in play at the end of that game.
One of the things that's so weird about Delver decks is you actually don't know if they're running between 22 and even 18 lands.
Right.
You know, like, a lot of people are really low on the mana count right now, and you can see this build is the 12 cantrip style, 4 Probe, 4 Scour, 4 Ponder, but other ones don't run that many. They only run perhaps, 5 of these. And, I mean, like, the Jerry Thompson build from Nashville was only, 4 Ponder, and then, I should say 9, and then, I believe 3 Probe, 2 Scour. And
that sounds right.
It makes a big difference depending on how far up the curve you want to go. One of the ways this deck gets away with it is by being quasi-mono blue.
Yeah. Not needing that white mana, at least main. I mean, in the board, he's, as far, like you mentioned Day of Judgment, that's a little scary. Not only does he need to get the 4 mana, but he needs 2 white.
2 white, and how? How? He's
he
only got
has
7 white sources.
Yeah. So,
I hadn't even thought of how difficult it must be for Kendrik's deck to get to Day of Judgment.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it either until just now, talking about the mana base. Like, getting double white in addition to 2 other lands.
Right.
I mean, we saw him with only 2 lands that game. Could be a tough proposition for Kendrik.
If you are out there and you want to be joining in on a conversation about these things with us, you can tweet to us at SCG Live and the hashtag SCGDEN. And then we see a turn 1 Bird of Paradise, the old school art. Mental Misstep says no.
Yeah, so Kendrik with 2 main deck missteps and 1 in the board probably brought that one in, or probably brought that 3rd one in, yeah.
We see a Gitaxian Probe on Kendrik's turn 1. Shows us Island, Conscripts, Phantasmal Image, Elvish Visionary, and Elvish Visionary.
So, not a whole lot of threatening things there, but those Visionaries can provide threats, potentially.
Visionary comes down, as would be expected. Turn 2 Kendrik. Delver.
There's the Delver.
Delver go. It's choking on land.
Yeah, now, at this point, if I'm Joe, I'm wondering, should I, if I have the opportunity to slime, should I take that opportunity? We've got a couple more turns before that's actually a factor, but...
Visionary again.
I guess what I'm saying is, I think Joe can safely feel like Kendrick's on the very low land count version of Delver. Well, there's a Moorland Haunt.
Moorland Haunt. One of the 2 Moorland Haunts in the deck, and there's an Augur.
Augur not going to draw lands.
Miss.
And not going to draw spells either. Wow.
You know, I have gotten 3 Augur in a mono blue Delver list that I'm running, and I keep on wondering if it's right. I mean, so often that happens, and it just feels really terrible.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be like Seagate Oracle, but it's not quite Seagate Oracle.
Yeah.
So
Forest.
4th land for Joe, and no access to red.
And Joe says, I'll lose one of these guys, take 1 damage.
Yeah. And
Angel in
Restoration
response,
Angel.
there we go. I won't lose one of them.
Yeah, nice little trick. I will blink the one.
And he says gut shot, the one that's targeted.
All right. So Joe gets in for 1 with 1 Visionary.
He gets in for 3.
And
that
gets in
shot.
for 2 more with Kendrick's gut shot. And still added
and the Angel is now out.
A pretty hefty threat to the board in the form of Restoration.
Kendrik looks like he's in terrible trouble right now.
Unable to flip Delver yet again.
Says go.
Basically has, he can Snapcaster Gut Shot if he has a Snapcaster. He has a Gut Shot in hand, and he has Snapcaster, and he's got Vapor Snag there. So Kendrik has actually several options in hand.
In for 3.
And
I'll take
the 3. Go to 9 here.
Another gut shot in his hand. I think I see another mental misstep in hand.
He has it may be Snapcaster, or did you see Snapcaster and misstep?
Perhaps.
I think he's got Snag, Gut Shot, and Snapcaster Mage. So.
And we see 2 mana here for a Phantasmal Image.
So what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kendrick says, I think I'm going to scoop game 3 here.
Okay.
A very quick game 2.
On to game 3.
In fact, we're only 16 minutes into this round for these players, and we're already on to game 3. It is nice to have games kind of just take place very, very quickly. I mean, the first game went by pretty quick, even though it was fairly tight between both players. So. What does Kendrick have for Angels?
His Angel answer is Angel, or his 1 Dismember, or Talrand over the top on it, I think.
Yeah, or Day of Judgment, if he can ever have access to that sort of mana.
Right. I mean, I have to say, I was telling you about the mono blue Delver deck that I was running, and mine was actually literally mono blue. It didn't have any of these funky lands. It did have 2 Inkmoth Nexus, just cuz. And the top end of my curve was 1 Sword of War and Peace.
Just the 3 mana, or Talrand, right? Did you say
I was not running Talrand.
Okay.
And because once you get down to the 18 land mark, it becomes hard. It becomes hard to actually start casting things.
Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about. Like, we saw a lot of these decks cutting lands, but still maintaining a 4-drop. And, it seems really iffy. Like, the worst thing in the world is just have cards in your hand that you just can't cast, especially in multiples. But I guess these Delver decks are strong enough, and with so many cantrips, they're just able to kind of overcome that hurdle in a lot of situations, and so they're willing to take that risk of maybe not hitting their 4th land and not being able to cast their Angel or Talrand or Hero of Bladehold or whatever. So,
19 land felt greedy.
Yeah. So what does 18 land feel like?
It's a little secret. I'm running 17 land in mine.
Yeah, just a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Right.
I won't tell. I think it's kind of appealing though, you know, to say, you know what, I'm just going to run 17 lands. I'm going to build a deck that can run off of 17 lands or 18 lands. You know, you just always have spells, it seems like. You know, you always have business.
It's actually kind of amazing when you actually get flooded. And you're like, oh, what's going on here?
Like, I've got 12 lands. I still think my favorite version of the Delver decks was the one that Jerry won with, was in Nashville with the Restoration Angels. It's sort of a safe version of Delver. You know, it's got like 22 lands.
It's if you want to, you could call it conservative, right? And why have we moved away from that version in some ways? Well, it's partly because other Delver decks can be built to beat that build. Other Delver decks that get a little bit greedier can just take that one out. And another thing about it is that when Jerry made that, that was a very early stage in that moment of Standard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were kind of messing around with stuff, and that deck was just good against, you know, a random opponent.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was very early, and right after Addison Restored was legal. So, Ponder from Kendrik, shuffles, doesn't see what he's looking for. I don't believe either player has mulliganed in this match, which I'm not as surprised on Joe's side, but I am a little more surprised on Kendrick's side. Like, I can't imagine you're not hitting hands with no lands fairly often.
It happens.
Oh, they both mulled to 6 this game. Okay, thanks for the info. And a Gitaxian Probe from Kendrik after that Ponder. Shows us Island, Forest, Restoration Angel, Inferno Titan, Birthing Pod, and Blade Splicer in Lossett's hand. So what do you take? Nothing, because it's a Gitaxian
What do you
Probe.
take? I take the Birthing Pod.
Don't you just try that trick, just point at something and see if they put it in the graveyard? I mean, not that you can really legally do that, but just for fun, you know.
So for those of you who are kind of curious about why Joe Lossett's name is familiar, he has had 3 top 8s in Legacy at the Star City Games events.
Yeah.
2 second places.
Last year, he was in second place with Cephalid Breakfast in the Legacy portion here in Denver. I was there. I remember watching that match.
Was I supposed to be there? I think I was dead sick or something.
I don't know. It was me and Chapin. It was the same weekend as Pro Tour Nagoya.
Oh, okay. No, then that was not. That was not.
So, turn 2 Delver from Kendrik.
That is where your match result slips are going to go.
Actually, that may have been turn 3. It was a turn 3 Delver from Kendrik.
Blade Splicer, very common play
I imagine,
here.
Yeah, I mean, he had one in hand. I imagine that's what we see here.
There it is. I'm trying to think if there's a card you would rather play there. I mean, because Borderland Ranger, you'd still wait.
And Delver flips off of Gut Shot for Kendrik here at the start of his 4th turn and gets in for 3. So this is a slow start for Kendrik. Lucky for him, it's kind of a slow start for Joe. Like, no Mana Accelerator, no Visionary. Planes for Joe, and in for 4. Knocks Kendrik.
Aha, take that.
Vapor Snag will take out the Golem.
I think, you know, even with the mulligan, I just don't know that this deck is made to be a 18 land deck. I mean, I believe that Yuya ran 19.
I think so too, yeah.
And
that was shocking.
That was, yeah.
Sort of shock. It was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, I have run 18 land control decks before.
Wow.
In the ancient
histories
of Magic.
What year was this?
A long time
ago. Starting
ago.
with 19.
But it had even more search in the cantrips that were there. It was like, you know, a little bit more one-drop search.
Okay.
Sleight of
hand?
Sleight of mind.
Oh, Sleight of mind, yeah. So there's a Restoration Angel from Joe.
Angel Splicer. It's a good combo.
And we've got a gut shot for the Splicer.
Just a 3/4 in the air is all you get. Okay, so now what are you going to do, little insect?
Yeah, that was main phase, I suppose. Angel there.
Angels and insects, who wins?
I would think angels would win.
I think you're right.
In the general flavor idea, but if angels keep getting Vapor snagged and gut shot, and well, the angel didn't get gut shot, but Kendrik with all the 1-drop removal.
Now this is a path that he cannot continue down for very long. I mean, he's only
Kendrik
got
or
Joe. I mean, sorry, Kendrik. I mean, he's got only the 1 mana here. The angel can come right back down again, and it's still there.
Yeah, Kendrik needs 2 more lands to even be able to Snapcaster Vapor Snag.
Hell, 1 more land to Snapcaster Gut Shot, and then when you do that, you've only got a 2/1 after the fight.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to gut shot though? I mean, you can gut shot Pilgrim. He's got a misstep for the Absence Pilgrim.
I was gonna say, if you attack with your insect, they block with the
angel.
angel.
I see. And then you can gut shot. Okay.
And then you gut shot. But I mean, what a terrible moment, right? All of your aggression distilled down to a 2/1 on the ground. Even here it comes.
And
yeah, I just block
representing gut shot.
Yeah, I just block.
Insectile Aberration into the red zone, giving Joe the opportunity to block with the Restoration Angel.
Okay, he takes it.
He says, I'll take it, I'll go to 9. All right.
This sets him up for a potential Phantasmal Image as another angel. There's a Borderland Ranger too, I think.
I think if does he have pod? I don't know if he does.
Oh wow, look at this, turning the tables with the attack.
Angel gets in for 3. Now if he has pod, can resolve it, he can just go get a slime and lock Kendrik. Well, slime blocks Kendrik out of spells. Doesn't save him
I don't know
Delver.
about that. In response, Vapor Snag.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a bad idea. I'm sorry, my line of play was what I was thinking about was a bad idea.
Well, I mean, it's the awesome play if everything works out.
Right.
You know.
But you still have a Delver to deal with. So Birthing Pod does come down, and Kendrik with yet another 1-drop, 1-mana answer to keep the board clear on Joe's side of the board, and now what's happening here? A little bit of discussion, not quite sure what it's about. Looks to be the very beginning of Kendrik's turn. He has his draw step sitting there under his right hand. I don't know that he's seen it yet, but for those of you just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco in the booth with Adrian Sullivan here in Denver for the StarCityGames.com Open Series.
Hello, everybody.
This is round 1 of 9, and Kendrik Stumpp in a position to take this match with his 18-land, quote-unquote mono-blue Delver deck.
All you need is 1 land.
And a threat, and all the 1-mana or 0-mana spells. That's actually really, it's really impressive the way Kendrik's been able to stay in this game. None of his spells have cost more than a mana.
We'll get a Borderland Ranger here.
Borderland Ranger from Joe. And he can pod up to Angel or Dignitary.
If I'm Joe, I just stop messing around. I get the Dignitary.
Get the Dignitary.
Get the Dignitary. Nothing. You can't be killed by Kendrik with that Dignitary, and then the pod can take over.
Yeah.
He's taken, I think, too much time here doing things that would be awesome if Kendrik didn't have the right card. I mean, when he did not block and then came back and attacked, that was really aggressive.
Yeah, and I don't know that it was wrong. I think he was just thinking, he has to have a Vapor Snag. He did, but the chances are I believe he'd already cast 2 Vapor Snags in the game, so there's a Thought Scour from Kendrik, knocks an island and a probe into
a precious island.
Yeah, into the graveyard. And Dignitary is indeed what Joe went to get with the Birthing Pod.
A second Delver.
And Kendrik with the
cannot attack. And here, Joe can Angel the Dignitary. Angel in hand, Dignitary there in play.
safe from any shenanigans here on Kendrik's side. The best he can do is gut shot, but that's not going to help.
Gut shot what, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like he doesn't have the opportunity to Vapor Snag here, so, and he can't counter the Angel.
Oh, he's going to Inferno Titan. There's nothing to fear.
Yeah, actually, you're right. He has the Titan in hand. Just go ahead and Titan away the entire board on Kendrik's side. And then swing with the Dignitary.
He could actually make a Titan and then turn the Dignitary into a slime and leave Kendrik unable to speak with no permanence.
I like it. I like it.
Oh, Joe.
Can we? Does he see it? Yeah. Can he completely clear his opponent's side of the board? Well, he looks like he's going with he's going with a different plan here. He just potted away the Dignitary for a Thrag Tusk. Oh no, I don't like it. I don't like it. I wanted to see him clear the Delvers away, clear the land away, but he goes with a Thrag Tusk. More conservative play. I mean, that was his window to resolve Inferno Titan. Did he just not see that? He does have Inferno Titan in hand, right? It's right there. All right, so anyway, he gets a Thrag Tusk, gains 5 life, casts a Restoration Angel, gonna get a Beast and another 5 life. I mean, this is a nice, safe way to play it, but I mean,
I think the other one was pretty safe.
A little safer to actually clear the other side of the board entirely. So, not a bad play from Joe Lossett, just not the one I would have chosen.
Right there with you. Because this line of play is open later.
Yeah, for sure. So Joe up to 15. Delver apparently no flip. And Kendrik gonna go ahead and attack with both anyway. Angel blocks Delver, Angel blocks Insectile Aberration. And Beast blocks Delver of Secrets. Insectile Aberration gets +2/+2, kills off the Angel. That is one other spell that I wasn't thinking about, besides Gut Shot, that Kendrik could have to kill an opposing blocking Angel.
Right.
But Joe takes 0 damage there, and yeah,
there you go.
And the match.
Joe Lossett with 4-color pod is the victor.
Now I wonder if that's really a factor of Kendrik's low land count being, because he was able to interact quite a bit in that game off of 1 land.